Hi guys, welcome back to Fernbus with Basic Economy, where we're going to do the return route from Linz to München via Salzburg. So we'll set up the route as usual. This will be route 16? 16. Okay. 16. Okay, so we want to start in Linz, go to Salzburg, then München. Okay, it's 318 kilometres. So 16. Let's do definitions first. Okay, so we want Linz, don't we? Linz to München. We also need Linz to Salzburg and Salzburg to München. There we go. So what was that distance? 318. 318. Okay, tickets will be the same as last time. So 29.99 and 34.75. The Linz Salzburg one is the small one, but let's check the distance of the other bit. Well, it's Linz to Salzburg, we can check, which is 151. So Linz to Salzburg is 151, which means that must be 167. Okay, so that's the short one, so we'll do that at 19.99 again. We might as well keep it the same as last time, although these are near enough the same distance this time. And then we'll do 24.99 and 29.99 again. Okay, that's fine. So that's good. So it is Linz München via Salzburg. Time is 4:11 and it's 318 kilometres. 4:11 318. Ticket rates are just the same as last time. 19.99, 24.99. Oops, 29.99 and 34.75. There we go, that's that bit done. Okay, route 16, so that should have pulled all that in. So we will have possibly some 1999s for Linz to Salzburg and possibly the 29.99 34.75s for all the way. Is that right? Check that. So we'll have Linz to München 29.99 34.75 and possibly Linz to Salzburg 90. Yeah, that's what we'll have. Okay, that's fine. So we could have that, we could have that, we could have that. Okay, let's check the route. 16 Linz to München via Salzburg, running Monday to Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. That's okay. Yep, that's good. We can go. It's tipping it down in Linz. Okay, need to log into the phone. So we'll do the same thing as normal, checking the ones who've already got the tickets, and then we'll worry about anybody buying tickets after that. Can't see anybody buying tickets, but we'll see. Okay, where's this guy going?
Here, my ticket.
Okay, that's one to Salzburg. That's one. Loud thunder. Two to Salzburg.
Here, mein
No, we're not going Dresden, mate. Sorry.
Hi, ich hoffe, ich bin hier richtig.
3 to Salzburg.
Ciao.
Where's this guy want to go?
Und das Ticket. Bitte schön.
4 to Salzburg. Hassan. Yep.
Auf geht's. Grüezi, bitte sehr.
Right, 1 to München, so that's 4 and 1 now.
Danke. Hallo, das Ticket. Bitte schön.
That'll be 5 and 1.
Ciao.
Hallo, das Ticket. Bitteschön.
5 and 2. Luna.
Cool.
Where are you going, madam?
Hi, ich hoffe, ich bin
No, we're not going there.
Ach nee, jetzt echt?
Oh, there's a ticket buyer there. Let's go round to this guy.
Hallo, mein Ticket.
Okay, 5 and 3.
Danke sehr.
Okay, so we've got 5 going to Salzburg, 3 going to München, who've already got the ticket, so that's there. Now let's see where this person buying a ticket wants to go. Is it anywhere we're going?
Mahlzeit. Könnte ich bitte ein
Salzburg.
Ticket bei Ihnen kaufen?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you said, but I think you said you wanted to get to Salzburg.
Danke sehr.
So there you go. You're welcome, mate. Okay, let's go and shut the door. Shut that door. Go back to the spreadsheet. So we have another one going to Salzburg, and there's no discount on that, so we'll increase that to 6. That's fine. I want to just check how many we've got. 6. We should have 9 people. Nobody's got that. So we should have 9 people on our bus, theoretically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Excellent. Now the rain stopped. Massive thunderstorm 2 minutes ago. Stopped pretty quick. Okay, so we can skip time forward. Start the ride and go to Salzburg. You let me go? Yes, you are. Right. There's a bit of a traffic jam here. I'm not causing it. Must be traffic lights. Yeah, there's a petrol station there. Would have been handy if we needed petrol, because we could have just driven down the road, filled up and driven back to the bus stop. Oh gee, you've had to go around the block to get to the bus stop, but still not far. It's like a chemist down here, the big green cross. Assume that's what that is. Or hospital, I suppose. I think it's a chemist. Okay, so we should be able to get out of Linz now, get to Salzburg, deal with the passengers there, and then we need a rest stop somewhere before München. But there's one pretty close to München, I think. But when I do the next lot of passengers, I'll check what time it says the rest is supposed to be by. I don't think it'll be an issue. We'll fit it in somewhere. As usual, if there's a police stop, we can combine it with that. So, as long as it's after Salzburg, we'll be fine. Okay, here we go. Out of Linz. If we'd have gone straight on there, we'd have been going back to St. Pölten and Vienna, so that's the road we went down. I think we went straight past Salzburg and went down to St. Pölten. I think that was the road we went down. Hey, not a lot of traffic around. So it's 130 to Salzburg. And about an hour and a half to do it, so should be okay. Wind turbines to our right. I think the mountains look good in front of us. That does look quite nice. Okay, straight on is Salzburg. Go back into Germany if you go down there, because it goes towards Regensburg, which has got the D after it, indicating you're going back into Deutschland. So I don't think at this point that we're very far from the German border. It looks like the area of Austria that's modelled is fairly close to the German border. But Austria's not that big a country, I don't think, in terms of geographical square miles or square kilometres or whatever. I don't think it's that big. So a lot of it's probably fairly close to the German border. We border Hungary as well. Austro-Hungarian border seems to ring a bell. Be the other side of Austria, wouldn't it? And I think it borders Switzerland with the Alps, I'm not sure. Anyway, whatever, we're getting out of Austria pretty soon. Once we get past Salzburg, we'll be getting back into Germany again. See, it says Salzburg, München D. Meaning Deutschland, Germany. And as I said before, no borders because of the Schengen Agreement. Which certainly has very good points when you think, you know, no stopping for passport control and customs and all that stuff. But has its negatives, I suppose, for smuggling and potentially terrorists crossing borders and all that stuff. I mean, everybody can move around easier, not just people who are obeying the law, I suppose you'd say. There's drawbacks in everything. Even the best ideas have their problems. I think Schengen's a good idea for countries in Europe, on mainland Europe. And if you're going to have freedom of movement of labour and everything else, then you need frictionless borders, really. Fundamental principles of the European Economic Community, or European Union as it's now called. Which of course the UK is supposed to be leaving. Or supposed to have left, but Not done so as yet. Whether we ever will is another story. Too much politics involved in that. Not going there. It will sort itself out eventually, one way or another. Strange thing is when you hear lots of people saying we ought to have a second referendum because we were lied to by both sides in the first one. They're politicians. You're surprised you were lied to? Of course you were lied to. They're politicians. That's what they do. Shouldn't come as a galloping shock that they lied to you. But there you go. Anyway, we will see what happens with that. I'm more interested in can I get to Salzburg? Makes you wonder if we did get the virtual coach company up and running, could we do something where costs increase for a time as a result of Brexit and the UK leaving the EU, although Fernbus doesn't affect the UK, so maybe that's not relevant. But there'd be economic effects across the whole of the EU when the UK leaves, so there could be an effect. Probably only temporary. Like all things in economics, economics is cyclical. Things go down, things go up. Well, prices never ever seem to go down. But the rate of inflation goes up and down, the rate of unemployment goes up and down, because economics is a cyclical thing. I mean, you have cycles of boom and bust and everything else. Similarly, house prices cannot go up forever, as we found out in 2008. I mean, when the house price inflation was like 20% a year, that's unsustainable, because if houses keep going up at that rate while incomes are rising at, say, 5%, first-time buyers are priced out of the market. If there's no first-time buyers, there's no market. I mean, that's basic economics. So house prices can't just go rip-roaring all the time. It's impossible. So economics is cyclical. So you could do something where you said, Brexit's happened, the UK's left the EU, it's an economic shock, your costs have gone up a bit, and a while later, everything's settled, your costs have gone back down again. That's if anybody's interested in a virtual coach company and the principle of the spreadsheet and all of that. Anyway, Salzburg, that's what counts, and we are close, 30 odd kilometres. With something like 45 minutes to do it. And I've not been exactly thrashing along. Or talking about all that EU and economic rubbish. I wasn't really putting my foot down that much. So, we ain't far from Salzburg. Which is pretty good news, I would say. Well, this is a bit downhill, isn't it? Woo! It didn't feel that steep going up. It certainly feels pretty steep coming down. And it appears I've got to go off here. So I'm a little surprised about, but I have. Looks almost like it's sending you into the services, but it's not. There's a road here somewhere. assumes that's the services there, where that Flixbus is parked. He's having his rest break by the look of it. And this will be Salzburg. With the mountains behind. Most of these journeys are of fair length. I mean, 4 hours when you think about it. And it's not the sort of thing you do every day, is it? So, actually quite a long distance thing. Fairly long distance coaching. Certainly by UK standards, because in 4 hours you can cover most of the UK. Well, not quite, but you know what I mean. UK's nowhere near as big. I was going to say, you're going to stop, mate, because you should be. Should be giving way to me as I'm halfway round the roundabout, but I wondered if he was going to. We are going to be just about on time. Perhaps a few minutes early. We're going to be pretty much okay, I reckon. And here's the stop. Not many people waiting by the look of it. Should be a quick check-in, this one. I don't know, there's a few. Yep, that's one.
Vielen Dank. Hello, mein Ticket.
That's two. Somebody over here.
Hi, Sie wollen bestimmt mein Ticket sehen.
Fina, that's three.
Ciao.
That's it, apart from somebody who wants to buy a ticket and she's standing right at the back for some reason.
Ich benötige noch ein Ticket für die Fahrt.
Ticket for die Fahrt. Ticket for the journey, she said. You can have a ticket for the journey, my dear.
Dankeschön.
Bitteschön. Okay, 3 and 1 then. Okay, spreadsheet. So we had 3 who already had tickets, And we've got 1 here, so we'll just increase that to 4. Okay. And the next thing will be, were we on time or not? Which we don't know yet. Okie dokie. Skip forward time? Yes. Okay, the rest is due by 6:22. Don't think that'll be a problem. Whoa, got out there straight away. Amazing. We have a traffic jam round the roundabout. There's that cafe place on the right again. I think this is a roundabout where I once had an altercation with somebody. They drove into me. If not, it was somewhere very similar. But in one roundabout looks much like another. Speedy couriers. Every time on time. Yeah, okay. Just don't drive into me because you normally do. Okay, AI, what's the problem? Oh, great. Okay, mate, you go as well. No, you're going to stop? What?
So ein Rowdy.
Not me, mate. Somebody just drove into us halfway round the roundabout. We're halfway round the roundabout. How can somebody drive into you? Give way to traffic on the roundabout. That's definitely not my fault. I'm taking no responsibility for that one at all. That's the AI's fault. I did absolutely nothing wrong there. Oh, it's another roundabout. Look out. Another crash coming any second. Because the AI is going to drive into us again. Got away with that one. I'm beginning to dread roundabouts and prefer the traffic lights. Do you know that? These are the traffic lights. They don't drive into you halfway across the junction. What a rowdy that passenger said. Which I think they were aiming at me. Which was completely unfair because it certainly wasn't my fault. Pretty houses. Austrian, Swiss type looking houses to me. Out of Salzburg and on our way to München. With a bit of luck, there are no more incidents after that, because that was a bit annoying, to say the least. Back on the main road now, or will be when we get out of here. There we go. Right, so rest stop any sort of time. Just about got away with that. What's that? Strange noise. Okay. Yeah, rest stop. We're 134 kilometres from München, so 100 kilometres away, 80, something like that will do nicely. Unless there's a police stop, in which case we'll combine the two. When we came back from Vienna, we stopped at some services about 100 from München, I think. Aim for something similar. In fact, we're coming up on some now, which will do. I think it's the same ones because the entrance on this side is further down. We just crossed into Germany. So we're back into Germany and the entrance to these services is further down. We'll see the ones on the other side of the road first. There's the sign saying you're in Germany. So that bit was sort of the border, if you like. Okay, and I'm going to go off here into the services. No police stop, but we'll do our rest here. Get it out of the way, I think. As long as Fernbus doesn't have a problem with it, we'll be fine. Oh, this is the one with no petrol or restaurant or anything. Well, much at all. Something over there. Might be a cafe or something. But it's not much here at all, really. It really is a rest stop. There's two people sitting on that seat again. I wonder if it's the same two people. No, it's not. It's the woman with the hat this time. Okay. Hello, just having a rest. We won't be here long. So I disturb your chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to remember this time to click that I've checked them, because it wasn't terribly keen last time when I didn't. Rest stops completed. München Zob by 1852. So just in case you're wondering what the 0700 is, because that looks a bit like a time, that's passengers. So it's telling us that there was 0 on the bus at the start, obviously. 9 got on. At the next stop, 6 got off and 4 got on. So 6 getting off 9 left 3, 4 got on, made 7. And when we get to München Zob, they're all going to get off and then there'll be 0. So that's the number of passengers that get on or off at each stop. Just in case you wondered. Or wanted to know how many get on or off at each stop for whatever reason. Not sure if we could use that in some way, but think about that one, whether there's any use I could put that to. Can't think of anything at the moment. Main thing at the moment is they pay their fares, we take their money, subject to our costs, we make a profit. That's the general principle of a business. Your income's greater than your costs, you make a profit. That's pretty much how it works. Hence, if you aren't making enough profit and you need to make more, there's only two ways to do it. You either increase your income or cut your costs, or both. That's why usually as soon as any business is not performing quite as well as it wants to, the first thing they do is cut costs. Which usually means staff. And generally what happens if the business is of any size is that over time they've ended up with people doing things that maybe they don't really need anyway. So actually they can get rid of certain things, which unfortunately means getting rid of people through redundancy, but it cuts the costs in the long run, makes the business more profitable, and then theoretically what you should do in the future is employ people in jobs you really do need. An example would be my work as a statistician, where we were producing reports for people that had been produced for years and years, and then the people in the business now didn't know what the hell they were for. You know, we'd have meetings and they said, well, I never look at that. Don't even know what that is. Well, we produce it for you. Yeah, but what is it? Well, you asked for it. No, we didn't. Somebody before did. We don't even know what it is. Okay, well, we'll stop doing it if you don't want it. We had what they called a rationalisation meeting with one client, where they wanted to rationalise the number of reports that we were producing and therefore how much they were paying us. And when we went to the meeting, we went through, we were producing something like 130 different statistical spreadsheet reports, whatever you want to call them, every month. And I think we got rid of 80 because they didn't know what they were. And they just come about over time. And that's what happens in big companies. And it's like, people say, oh, well, it might be useful one day. Well, yeah, but really? And then other reports have come along which actually did exactly the same thing and had exactly the same data in them, but just with other data as well, and with a vast improvement. But nobody thought, well, hang on, we don't need that one now. It's just the way things go in big companies. I mean, it's just always been the way. The most frustrating thing in my job was always somebody would ask for a spreadsheet, and they'd sort of tell you what they want, but they didn't really know what they want. And when you build what they asked you to build, and it then doesn't give them the answers they were looking for, they blame you. You say, well, that's what you asked for. Yeah, but that's not what I meant. Well, okay. But if that's not what you meant, then let's find out what you did mean and do that instead. But I mean, it's not being horrible to any one person. That's true of everybody. Most people don't know what they want first time because they think they know. But it's not until they actually see it they say, ah, no, that's what I want. Roadworks. But it's quite funny how they tell you what they want, you produce it, and then they say, oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Well, that's what you asked for. And when you're taking data from multiple systems and combining it all together to report it and try, theoretically, to give these people information which ultimately will enable them to make decisions to run their business, you know, saying, well, that's not what I wanted, we've got to completely redesign it, ain't the shortest piece of work in the world. So, okay, well, we'll go away and redo it, but it's going to cost you. You should have got it right in the first place. You should have been more precise about what you wanted. There you go. It's all good fun. Sort of. And when you're building spreadsheets that are taking data from different systems and then spreadsheets are talking to other spreadsheets and combining stuff together and then outputting it, say, to Word or like something else to report it, maybe into PowerPoint presentations or something. I mean, some of the linkages become so complicated that if you're going to say, well, I'm not going to produce that spreadsheet anymore, hang on, what knock-on effects is that going to have on all these others? Because that feeds into here and into here and into here and into here. So it becomes not even as easy as just saying, well, I don't want that one anymore. Yeah, you might not want it, but if you want that one, you're going to have that one, because that feeds in there. Whether you look at it or not is up to you. But it's got to be produced because it's got to feed that, so you might as well have it anyway. It's not going to cost you anything because you need the data. So there you go, all good fun. That's a brief synopsis of my fun career. The other thing you'll notice is in the summary we have like the number of passengers we've carried, the number of routes we've done on time, the number that are late, the percentage. Nowhere do you see an average, like average number of passengers per route. I think I mentioned it in passing, but it's not on there, and there's a very good reason for that, because averages don't tell you anything on their own. An average on its own is absolutely useless. Any statistician will tell you that. Give an example. You've got two different sets of data, whatever that is, it doesn't really matter what it is, but each has got two numbers in it. The first one is 51 and 49, so the average is 50, and the other one's 99 and 1, so the average is 50. So if all you did was look at the average, you'd say those two are the same, but they're clearly not. So if you calculate something called the standard deviation as well, so on 51 and 49 the standard deviation is 1, because the numbers deviate from the average of 50 by 1. 51 is 1 higher, 49 is 1 lower. On the other one the standard deviation is 49. So what you can see is, although the average is the same, if you also look at the standard deviation, it tells you there's a massive spread in one set of numbers and not in the other, and then you can start investigating why there's that spread. What does that spread mean? Well, it depends what the data is, obviously, but let's say it's profit. Say your profit went from 49% to 51% for one department, but the other department it went from 1% to 99%. Well, you want to find out what the department who went to 99% are doing, because they're obviously doing something right, and you want to spread that to the department who are only on 51%, for example. So there you go. So averages, they're good, but on their own they don't tell you a thing. So that's why on my summary page you do not see an average. What I'd be more interested in is things like maximums and minimums. So which routes produce the maximum income, which routes produce the minimum income, and then over time does that hold, like, is that route always producing the maximum income? Is it just something about that route? Does it even out over time because Fernbus produces different number of passengers and so on? That's something you'd only know over time, but be interesting to see. Maximums and minimums could be useful. The spread between the two could be useful, but the average on its own doesn't tell you very much. Anyway, we're back in München, you may have noticed. We're just around the corner from the bus station, the Zob, and we've got well over half an hour, 36 minutes, so we are well early again. And I haven't been hurrying at all. And apart from that idiot who drove into us on a roundabout, we haven't really had any issues. I guess in Germany you'd have shouted Dummkopf at him, which means idiot. Well, I could think of some other things in German I might shout at him actually, but we'll leave that. But there you go. I take no responsibility for that one at all, or accept no responsibility for that one. That definitely was not my fault. What I was saying about moving buses, it would be nice if when you pulled in here there were buses moving around, even if they're not particularly going anywhere. I mean, in a bus station you would expect you might actually see some of these buses moving, like pulling out, pulling in, whatever. But they don't ever seem to move, which is a shame. Only at the bigger bus stations. You know, smaller places like Erfurt, where there's one bus stop on the side of the road, well, I wouldn't bother, because that would just cause problems. But when you've got a big bus station like this, or Berlin, places like that, then, and the airport, the railway should take a leaf out of this book. They should, madam. You're quite right. Okay. There you all go. Got your bags. Well done. They magically appeared in your hands again, which is also a nice trick if you can do it. Okay, so we can log out. We can go to the spreadsheet and we can say yes, we quite definitely were on time. So we go to the summary and you can see what I mean. There's total passengers, there's total income, there's total costs, so they're all sums effectively, or totals, whatever you want to call it. There's net profit, which is income minus costs, which isn't exactly rocket science. Number of routes on time, number of routes late, and a percentage, but nowhere is there an average, because I wouldn't report an average on its own. It's not worth it. So there you go. So that's where we are with that. So I think I'm just going to save that spreadsheet before something horrible happens and I lose it. And that's it for this episode. Next time we will think about the next route. So I will see you then. Take care. Bye bye.